So welcome to a bit of a fireside chat with the one and only Kobi Simmat. For those who don't know, Kobi is a co-founder of NPX, or what was Next Practice, is Next Practice. And Kobi and I have known each other for 25 years plus.
Yep.
We've actually consulted together on different projects. We've utilised each other's offices when we were very, very young in the game. And yes, we've been responsible for developing management systems and doing audits and all the things that we needed to do to set up improvement programs. But Kobi has taken on a different outlook in business, and he has some great insights. And I wanted to talk today primarily about the book that he has written, which is
How to Build a Business Others Want to Buy.
Which is really great for our business and the people we deal with, and us too. I mean, we're trying to build a business and make it attractive and window dress it and give all the fundamentals to it, what would be a good business. We're all doing it, but Kobi's managed to actually capture the essence of what it is to actually do that. From very humble beginnings, he talks about a particular person that influenced him in the very beginning by the name of Karen Penny, and some real fundamentals, but those fundamentals have obviously followed him through the different roles that he's had and had his own business. And funny enough, Kobi, in the last 12 to 18 months, has sold his business.
Yeah, 3 years ago, would you believe it?
No, is it?
Yes.
That's how far. I think he was only last year.
It's 3 years ago, yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But I guess he is a case in point of how you would build a business for other people to buy. Yep. I think that's a really important title, because the parts of the book that we'll probably talk to today are a step-by-step guide on how you would do that. So I suppose I wanted to say congratulations on the book, mate. It's terrific read.
Thank you.
And even through the early parts, I knew there was gems in there that we could use in part of our growth programs at NPX. But I was just saying to Kobi that I've given the book to a number of people, and there's a few chapters that we earmark that I want them to read, and for them to understand where they are in the journey in building their businesses, and for them to use some of the tools within the book that will set them up nicely. So did you want to just give a quick synopsis of the book?
Yeah, 100%.
For our
100%.
viewers?
I think it's good to start, walk the talk, if you like, of some of the aspects of different things we've talked about. So to start with why. We talk to all of the NPX clients, anyone that I've ever spoke to, which is start with why. So I'm going to start with my why, which is I'm super passionate about helping businesses to be, to grow, to be healthy, to get more inquiries, more leads, more sales, more customers, more profit, if you like. And one of the ways that we've done that over the years is with using an ISO system, because that was about having a quality management system that helped to help clients and companies to address their promises to their customers, and have happy customers, and happy customers tell other customers, and then you grow your business. But I've always been passionate about having companies, helping companies to be healthy, to be set up properly, to grow, to be quick to, they're never going to be fault free, but having tools and processes and being in the right mindset to be able to maybe deal with those disasters that come up every day, the firefighting, if you like. Having firefighting systems in place, if you like. So, NPX is a part of that. That's a pathway to, the growth program or ISO compliance, through consulting or training or advisory services. When we had best practice and we were running best practice, that was all part of, auditing and following processes and running lots of online training. And these are all we've had lots of fun over the years of all these different ways. And in the background, I've always had this, I wish someone had kind of given me the how-to manual, the how to build a business manual, if you like. So I started writing a book, and running best practice, helping, on the sidelines with you with Next Practice. And I started writing this book, How to Build a Business. In the process of doing that, obviously this thing happened, and, I did an exit from best practice, and we did the transaction, and I sold the business. And I've been able to, give some people some guidance on how to do that over the last couple of years since I left. But ultimately, I'm still passionate about that same thing. And so I started writing this manuscript, and then I got some help. Someone came on board, Bernadette Schwerk came on and said, look, I can help you organise all of your ideas. I can help you get it into something that's, you know, easy to digest. And that's a lot of the feedback from everybody with this new book, is that it's easy. It's an easy read.
Yes.
So I'm not just going to sit here and spruik it. Like they've said, actually, thanks very much. I thought it'd be really hard to get through. I don't know how to write a book. I've never done it before. So I got a professional, you know, involved to help me. And then she was able to get us, you know, essentially, I've got to give her all the credit. We got runner-up Business Book of the Year in the Australian Business Book Awards. So
congratulations there.
Yeah, thanks.
That's good news.
But I think that's a testament to the fact that I'm just not sitting here saying it's a great book. It's got a ton of great ideas. It's chock-a-block full of gold nuggets. But it was something that was really the how to build a business book, you know, with maybe some, you know, a bit of a roadmap in terms of different ways to get there. Mm-hmm. So it's not all just one way, follow this one process and you'll get there. There's different things for different problems, you know, different challenges that come up, and there's, you know, I've got opinions and ideas around how to solve those with practical application and you know, examples of how it's worked as you go through it. So I think the publisher we went with, Wiley, ended up getting on board at the end and said, actually, we're going to put a tagline on it, others want to buy. So it's how to build a business others want to buy. So you could interpret that as someone wants to come in and buy your business. So a business that someone wants to buy must be a good business, because they're happy to exchange money. So if you're someone thinking about selling a business later on down the track, or you want to know what your business is worth, and then maybe how you can increase the value of that business, or your customers, you know, how to build a business that others want to buy from, so that your customers. So you can interpret it that way, but it's really about building a business. Between Nick and I, over the last 25, nearly 30 years, we've been looking at thousands. It's literally tens of thousands of businesses. We've had this amazing kind of, you know, ringside seat to these incredible organisations. And it's not just we went to visit and had a coffee. We were in there doing audits and reviews and consulting, turning these companies upside down, looking at the evidence, meeting the people, talking to and so while we've talked about it, we were bowerbirding. We've been bowerbirding for all of these years. Like, oh, okay, well, there's a mistake. We better not make that mistake, or there's something really great, let's implement or adopt that. So I took kind of all of those things, tried to simplify it, make it easy. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, so I needed something for myself. So it was really a manuscript for myself, you know, for future businesses, but also for you. So, you know, for $30, look, if you reached out to me, I'll give it to you.
It's a sound investment, and I think you talk yourself down there, not the sharpest tool in the shed. In fact, I think you have been working to improve, let's say, certification industry for 30 years, because you could see where the benefits lay. So, you know,
it's work smart, not hard. You know?
Of course. But let's say that cumulative knowledge, and everyone's doing that bowerbirding, which is fine, which it should be, but it's the best.
Absolutely.
Bowerbirding, not just for the sake of bowerbirding, but the best information, the best examples.
Absolutely. You know, and as a bowerbird, if you know what a bowerbird is, and maybe Luke can put a little image of a bower and its bowerbird, you're looking for the very best blue, you know,
That's right.
The very best
outstanding
of the best.
blue.
Yeah. So it is a really great book. It's got some really great simple chapters. And you know, we were talking off camera just before we started recording that you know, my advice is the same. So if you've ever watched any of my videos on different books, you open up How to Build a Business Others Want to Buy, you go straight to the contents page, scan the contents page, and look for something that grabs your attention and read that chapter, because there will be something happening in your business right now that is a challenge, or it's a problem, or it's something you want to do, and it's a pretty thorough, you know, look over different businesses. And I think for most people, you know, 95% of people, we all struggle to kind of pick up a book, open the first page and front to back. And so this is not a book for that. This is a book of, like, it's got a really great contents page. It's got really great call out boxes all the way through the book. The desktop publishing is amazing, and the creatives that got on board with the project, you know, I didn't draw the pictures myself. We got people to come on and help out, so that it was a better experience for you. So yeah, you can plod through, and Nick's got 2 favourite chapters in that particular book, and many people I've spoken to got different parts of it that they really like. Someone texted me like 2 days ago, I'm reading it for the 3rd time, and I'm seeing stuff in the book that I didn't see the first time.
Yeah, which is typically the way, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, we're always looking to evolve, and I think by using that method of checking in with the different chapters, and it is readable by doing that, which makes it far more accessible, I think, to the average person.
Yep.
And those who want to actually improve their business. And I think you made a point about the practical examples, and I think that often we talk about at MPX that issues fall into 4 categories. and we're talking about the scaling up methods here and model, which is certainly about people, strategy, execution, and cash. And I've got to say that you've covered the majority of those within your book. And that's one methodology, but your practical examples as they read.
Yep.
And the big one that I'll say, that I'll draw your attention to, is the people management piece.
Yep.
And primarily the support of people in their roles. And Kobi gives great examples of things that have gone not so well, but then rhythms and methods that you can implement in your business to support a person in their role.
Yeah.
And I remember in the days of best practice, and the thing I'll go back to, you can recall this, is that you would have senior leaders within the business step into the CEO role for a week or a month. I can't remember the time frame.
It was a month.
Yeah, it was a month, which gives someone a keen understanding that there are certain things in that job which are fantastic and not so much. And that's the reality of being a leader in a business. But I remember those examples you said in the book, and particular examples about managing people, which are really effective and have helped me and will help you as well manage your people. The strategy piece too, and Kobi talks about this in the business, is building rhythms around a quarterly cycle of accountability to make sure that you have a set and defined strategy. You build in checkpoints of that strategy to make sure it's the right one, and you are executing on the strategy. If not, why not? On track, off track. These are the rhythms that are described in the book as a model, which are fantastic. And then the execution piece, which is about the disciplines that you put into the business to ensure that people are doing the right thing with the right materials and right software, whatever it might be. They're doing the right thing, making sure that that strategy is being executed upon and everyone's aligned. And then the cash management piece, which I think is an undersold element that we talk about and not done well. But Kobi, I remember your practice in this area was the quarterly P&L reviews or monthly P&L.
It's a combination.
To make sure that the finger is on the pulse, because what we say about business growth, and we are all trying to grow, and we just talked about growing our business and building a business, it sucks cash.
100%. So
if you're not on top of that...
if you're looking at a P&L, like everybody watching this should be looking at a profit and loss statement out of your accounting software. I used to look at it 3 to 4 times a day. There are people that I talk to, like, oh no, my accountant looks after that. We look at it once a year. So all of the accounting packages, whether the most popular ones are Xero, it's 80% of the market. MYOB, it's probably 15% of the market, and there's a sprinkle of others. They've all got a reporting button. They've all got a profit and loss, and they can run it by month. So I used to look at a yearly, so 12 months rolling, and ideally with a year-to-date number. So you'd look at the financial year. We're 3/4 of the way through the current financial year, so it'd have 9 months stacked up, and essentially look at the months where I'm making a profit, the months where I'm making a loss. Now, every month that you make a small profit, however small it will be, your bank balance will continue to build up. Every month where you've got your result at the bottom in brackets, which means it's a negative, your cash or your bank balance will go down, and to the point where you may need an overdraft or a loan, or you've got to put more money into your business, or you're not paying yourself. And you go to barbecues, you're an entrepreneur, you're running a business, you're participating in a business. People like to hear and people like to talk about, we've had 100% growth, or we've had 200% growth, or we've had 15% growth of the business. That refers to the revenue of the business. Now, that's vanity, but profit's sanity. So revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. People are scared to talk about profit or loss for that matter. So the business could have had 1,000% growth, but it's actually losing money. And so, you want to kind of the story to sound good. So you've got to be looking at profit. So forget revenue, and anybody that's worth anything and anyone that's going to cheer for you will be expecting to hear that you're making a profit. And anyone, they won't get jealous of you. They won't criticize you. So anyone that's actually worth talking to and getting advice from will come to you and say, hey, it's great that you've had 1,000% growth, but show me your profit. And so it's really the cash flow part. The step before that is every month that your business makes a profit, however small, it can be $1, that will be giving you a positive cash flow, or a cash flow, an increasing cash flow, I should say, not positive cash flow. And then any month that's in brackets is going to be sending you backwards. And so then you're not going to be able to pay bills next month, for example. Now, depending on your cash pipeline, then It could be you paid, on average, you paid 30 days, 21 days, whatever it might be, 9 months. I was just chatting to a guy today, and his customer went from 3 months, from a month to 90 days. That's 3 months. And so that killed his business because he wasn't collecting. He literally had a 3-month period where he didn't collect any money from his customer because they just changed their terms. And so while he was profitable, he then had to wait. And so then he had to take money out of his mortgage to put it back into his business, keep his business running, because his customer basically slowed down the payment. So there's all sorts of other stuff about positive cash flow and negative cash flow businesses and that sort of stuff. That's for another discussion. That's around your model. But yeah, it's definitely something that's understated and not talked about. And that's something I'm super passionate about helping you guys with. If you need to reach out to Nick and get hold of me, is that particularly in the economic climate right now, is to be looking at every single way that we can to help you make more profit. Now, if that's get more customers, we can help with that. If that's get more compliance or meet criteria so you can pitch on other work, definitely we can, as a team, we can help with that. But it's absolutely something I want you to be focusing on.
Fantastic, because I would say that you described it before, working through the business. We've developed a program now which is focused on lead gen at the front end, pipeline filling. Then we can work through the different sides of the business, which is business development, sales, marketing obviously in the mix, right through to that financial side as well. I just wanted to point out that via our website, through the resources section, there is a business health check, which covers those 4 key areas of people, strategy, execution and cash, to give you a measure of where you're at. And I think what that draws attention to, and you've been big on this, as am I, in our Monday dashboard. We use Monday as a program. We built a dashboard around that, of which those 4 elements, people, strategy, execution and cash, is captured, which is great. We have dashboards because we pay attention to the things that matter. Cash matters, and not paying attention to it puts you in a situation like the example you gave, where you are a deficit in money, in cash, drawing on your own personal reserves to fund a business that's not paying dividends. So would you continue to do that? It sort of leads me to that next part of the book, which is it can be lonely as the founder and owner. There's a lot of pressure to do probably a lot. In fact, wear many hats. We've all done that. But the building of supports around you, as in direct reports and delegating responsibility, is a big challenge for some owners, naturally, because it's their baby. Not being able to let go of the vine and hand it to someone else, which is typical. Can I ask you 2 parts, and your take on this, how to build that structure around yourself, you in the middle of it, how do you take care of yourself?
Look, so I think I talk about it in the book. The first thing is this tool that kind of works across the board, which is 2 walks, 2 sleeps. Like whether you need to do something or react to something, is a lot of you might know me already. I'm quite a noisy person, and so I'll open my mouth and regret shit that comes out of it a lot. Not today. I'm much older and wiser than I used to be. But so 2 walks, 2 sleeps, and so that kind of slows everything down, slows down the hiring, so you don't rush into hiring somebody. Like go. If you decide, I want to hire this person, wait 48 hours. It's basically saying wait 48 hours. So it's go for your morning walk or your afternoon walk, whatever that might be. I try to make sure that walk's a minimum of 8 kilometres. 'Cause that kind of gives me 2 hours, if you like, or just a bit under 2 hours. And then 2 sleeps. And so you've slept on it twice, and then you kind of make the decision. So whether it's you want to scream at somebody, and lose your marbles over something and get stuck into somebody, or go ahead with something that's really big, just that walk. Now, it's predicated on no technology. So it's no listening, no AirPods, no iPod, whatever, no music. Just let your mind wander. So it's kind of my form of meditation, if you like. Everybody that's read the book and given me feedback on it that's tried it, it absolutely 100% works. It works for me. So whether you do it or don't do it, I highly recommend it. And I haven't found any other alternative to it, like whether it's going to the gym or swimming or anything like that. It's just because the purpose of the walk is to let your mind wander and process this particular business problem you're trying to solve. So I think, in terms of looking after yourself, that sits at the top. There's more strategies to that. I think the second part to the question is, when we're, our job is to grow a business, right? And I think about it a lot like a vine. So a vine grows, not a vine, a hedge. A hedge grows and it's a little tiny tree and it's growing up and it's creating these gaps. And as the business grows, we've got to fill these gaps with other branches, so we've got the proper canopy at the top. And so, we're starting to get more people. So the founder starts and then it splits and there's a branch and you keep plugging these holes, And so sometimes you've got to cut it and prune it so it goes in the right direction. Mm-hmm. But and I talk about a bit in the book in terms of, getting people on board and how to do that. And there's lots of processes. But fundamentally, when you're hiring somebody, they've got something you haven't got. So they've got time that you haven't got. So you hire somebody, you exchange money for their time, and then they're going to bring with them contacts or assets in the form of skills and experience or network, and fundamentally skills, if you like, and the ability to do things or motivation or energy that you don't have. And so the first thing obviously I do is, you look at the whole business, you look at the hats you're wearing, and what's the hat you hate the most? So go find somebody who loves that. Mine and Nick's in the early days was numbers. Hate the numbers, hate the bookkeeping, hate the finance. Get somebody on board to do that. And I really struggled. You work really hard all week, and then I was doing payroll at midnight on a Wednesday night. Right, I'll get somebody in to do the payroll, and then I don't have to think about that anymore. I can just get a good night's sleep and get on with, being the technician, if you like. Mm-hmm. And I'll talk a bit about owner versus technician in the book. But have a think about those things. And then what's the next thing that you want to hand off? So when you're handing off, without going into too much detail, and you're interviewing someone or you're trying to find someone, don't just grab the closest warm body to come in and do this task. Somebody who gets it, they really want that thing, and then they've got the capacity to do it. And they've got the days available, the time available, the skills, the emotional resilience, the bandwidth to do that particular task. Because you have to remember that you're paying money for a completed action or outcome. You're paying money to somebody, and we forget about this fair exchange. It's like you kind of, as business owners, you want to look after your family and keep everybody happy. I think we're past that now. We're starting to realize that you have to build a high-performance team like a football team. Whether it's football in the form of soccer, and I think they do it much better than a lot of the other codes, or here in Australia it's AFL or rugby league or rugby union. You're building a high-performance team, and so you're going out and you're looking at the market and you're picking the very best player to come and join your team and play that particular position on the field that contributes to the team outcome of scoring goals. It's not family. Stop calling your business family. You are building a high-performance team to achieve a high-performance outcome, which fundamentally is to make profit for the founder so the founder can share that profit with your staff and look after their livelihoods. Without a business that's profitable and making money, everybody else will wander off and do their own thing. They're coming to work for you to get money. That's what it's there for. And there's too much time spent, we're building a family and we're dilly-dallying around. So that's rubbish. You've got to focus on building a high-performance team, and a high-performance team that's winning can do charitable work. You can look after people, you can make profit, and you can hand out checks to people that need money. Like you can be a philanthropic person. But don't be a philanthropic person inside your business and send it to a loss.
That's a really good point.
Right? So we've got to stop talking, we feel obliged to make people feel connected so they feel like family. Just make them feel like they're on a really great team and the team's bonding. Terrific. And you're all wearing the same jersey and you're playing for the same goal and the same outcome, and go out and celebrate and be a great team and hold each other accountable to very high playing standards. And then you can look at your team and say, look, there's a particular position, it's on the team, this position on the team has got this requirement, and unfortunately, you're not playing to the standard that the business needs it. So I need you to either up your game, or unfortunately, I'm going to have to either bench you, or I'm going to have to let you go from the team and bring the next rookie in that's going to be here for the next season. And you've really got to think like that. And that's, I'm probably more confident to speak about that nowadays than I used to be. Because it's really important.
Yep, great. The thing, there's a body of work recently, researchers had done that workplace surveys. And it's through, I think LinkedIn had put this together, and there's a number of factors that contribute to making a role attractive. The first being the wage, salary, remuneration. The second, which I found I'm not surprised by this because we talk about it, is how my contribution in that seat contributes to the direction and strategy of the business. But understanding that I'm not just a number and I sit punching out this work that has no relation to anything we do. I think making that clear from a strategic perspective that people have their hand on the wheel, it shouldn't be undervalued. To the point you're talking about, same uniform, same direction, same processes, same systems, things that we are investing in, but the outcome is important. So really interesting to say that, because if you think about it, it's not about making me feel warm and fuzzy. That's well down on the list. Bean bags, pool tables, ping pong tables, that's well down on the list. The two top is salary and how my work contributes to a bigger or a vision. That was a really interesting take. And I think that what we try and do in our work is make sure that, and that's why I asked you about putting someone in that CEO seat for a month. They get to understand that it is the job of the founder to make sure that people are connected to the vision of the organisation. You are the conduit for that, but also that everything that sits below that role is aligned to the outcome that you as a founder, and think about this, why you started the business in the first place. That's a motivating factor, but is everything beyond that and thinking about the people, the strategy, the execution and cash, are all those efforts and all that alignment in place in your business. And I'm going to go on about it again, but the health check that we have via the website in the resource section gives you a good sample of where self-assessment, of where a benchmark of where you're at. And then obviously those things that need to be worked on can be worked on. That's why we built this brand. And I'm glad you made that point, because of all the thousands of improvement projects that we've been involved in, we know what works and what doesn't. And just going back on that too, I think it's been a great privilege to work with Kobi in that environment, because we're thinking and looking for the same thing. And I think it's only the last 10 years that we realised that we need to get this company up and running, because we need to be sharing that knowledge with you. Kobi's captured it in a book. We practice it each day when we engage with our clients. So I think there's great value there for you. And I think you can message us directly. We'll get you a copy of the book.
Absolutely.
All you need to do is ask.
I've got a basement full of them.
Yeah, I've got a few boxes as well. But I make a point of it when I do have a face-to-face meeting with a client. Unexpectedly, it's like surprise and delight. I said, Kobi, I go to a meeting. I say, Kobi, nice to meet you. I'm Nick. And
Nick.
Yeah, how you going?
Nick.
So what's happening in your business? What's going on? Not. It might be about not the issue they're thinking, but by having that conversation and opening up. Funny enough, these issues bubble to the surface. And I say, look, I've got something for you. And I do earmark and mark chapter 2 and 12, as we discussed. And I have them start there. And they're so appreciative of the gift. It's a surprise and delight. And so thank you for that, because I reckon it's a wonderful tool to start a conversation which may not have been the original, but it leads people to thinking about how is it that I'm struggling within my business. And what we do at Next Practice is that we reduce the drama in business and help them grow well. And the owners are a part of that. One engagement each and every time, that's where we make a difference. So it starts with handing over a book, mate.
100%.
Yeah. 30 minutes, that's great. That's terrific. Do you want me to sum up? And just
ask me where you can get it, and then we'll...
Yeah, great. So now we've talked about the book. Great. So apart from handing it over, where can we get a copy, or where can our viewers get a copy?
Yeah, look, I think the best thing to do is click any links or buttons below or above this video and reach out to Next Practice and get those guys to give you a copy. And in the absence of that, it's available on all of your favourite book apps. So there's a digital version on Kindle, Amazon, Apple eBooks, iBooks, whatever it is. And hard copies are available through Amazon and eBay.
Fantastic.
So that you can do a Google search and your favourite bookseller, it's everywhere. It was obviously all the way through airports in Southeast Asia 12 months ago. There's still a few copies floating around in your airport bookshops, so you can you go scout for that. But I think the easiest thing to do right now is just Google for it and find your favourite online seller, and you can get a copy there. You can obviously follow me on Instagram or on LinkedIn. But I think via Next Practice is the best place to go, because you can get it. You can more than likely we can get you an autograph copy of it.
Oh, look at that. Superb.
100%. So that's my offer. So if you go through Next Practice, we'll get you an autograph copy of it.
Will do. As to the future, and thinking about, you've got a lot of good things to say, and people might want to reach out to you directly.
Yep.
What does the future hold for you, and what would you be like to be, not to put the pressure on, but what do you want to be focusing on?
Yep.
If that's your book, what's next?
Yeah, look, for me, what's right now is I'm looking for other businesses to invest in that can embrace and adopt these strategies. So I'm on this kind of due diligence research mode and tour at the moment. So talking to lots of business owners. I am coaching a few, so very high level, high performance coaching. So if that's something that you might look to be investing in, where we're looking at businesses and I'm taking on a few. There's pretty strict criteria. One is that you must do the homework. And so a few people have found that quite challenging. So if I'm going to invest my time in your business and help you rapidly grow and rapidly scale, then I'll be looking to see that each of the things that are discussed and set get actioned super quick, because I can help a business grow very quickly, but it does require the founder to be actioning that, prioritizing that. So if you're somebody who wants to grow and scale your business, and that scale is, yes, increase the revenues, but then ultimately the profit, to turn it into a healthy business, we can look at the valuation, we can look at the value levers, and we can turn your business into something that's rapidly growing and very financially healthy. Gives you the opportunity to maybe have a bit of a rest, go other places, do other things, so building those things around it. So I work one-on-one with people to do that. I'm looking for investments myself, so there's a few key industries that we're looking at. And obviously I'm on the sidelines and out on the side of the stage with Next Practice. So with what we're doing there. So you can access me through, that's Perfect. The best way, is access me through Next Practice. So reach out to Nick, and if you want me to come in and talk, or there's an engagement that you want me to be involved in, we do that through Next Practice.
Fantastic, mate. That's great. So reach out to us. Obviously you can message us, ping us down below, wherever it might be. Happy to come and have a chat with you. We've got these books ready to give to you and engage with you to help your business grow and reduce the drama. And also, we want to make sure that the confidence that you have in your own business, you're not alone. Clearly, we've been through this, and we want to share that knowledge with you to take the pressure off you, because that's why we're here. So reach out. Look forward to hearing from you. All the best.
Bye for now.